Hi everyone, so I am back with another craft with me video. I haven't done one in a while. It's been hectic the last few weeks. So this is a Pinterest inspired idea, and I'm also using Artymaze's freebie kit for the month of October. It's 2025. So I will put all the links below. I will try and remember and put the pin that inspired me to do this from Pinterest. I do believe when I clicked on it, it didn't take me anywhere. So somebody's obviously uploaded it because, you know, not everything is, Pinterest don't own everything. Pinterest is where people pin their work to, or other people's work to. So yes, I'll try and remember that. So I've printed out 3 sheets from the October kit because it's a pocket that I'm making, and it's a multi-pocket that you can put in your journals. And then I had this is from one of Artymaze's kits, and I'm going to be using that as well. I've got some book pages because I plan on using a bit of book page, and I've got some of these which are from Artymaze. They're in my autumn folder. You'll need some glue. I'm going to be stitching as well, but that's just personal preference. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and trim all these down, and then I'll be back. Okay, so everything is all cut out. I'm going to use this piece as my back pocket because there's going to be like 3 other pockets put on this. So I'm going to do it that way because I want to see my front. So I'm going to do that at 3 3/4, which is 9.5 centimeters, and then we'll take that along again to there, and then we want a little piece at the side, probably about trying to see what that will be, about 1/2 centimeter, half an inch, yeah. And take that away, keep that will come in handy for collaging. And then we're just going to do that again, little 1/2 inch, sorry, totally distracted there. Actually, that isn't even 1/2 inch, is it? There we go. So we're taking that down to, so that we've got 6 inches of a pocket. Okay, never mind my boo-boo. Okay, so, and you can do this with anything, you don't have to do it with digitals. It's just that I'm doing this with Artymaze's kit. Should say actually is kits, right? And we'll trim off that like so, and then we'll just fold and fold up. And fold in. That should meet perfectly. If you want to go over it all with a bond folder, you can. Right, so here I'm going to take out a little notch. My round hole punch is rubbish, so I'm using this, and I just use the little bit just to take that notch out, and I just eyeball that to the best of my ability. Then we're going to come in with some inking up just behind here because we don't want to see that white. Okay. Now at this point you can glue. If you're just going to glue, you can just go ahead and glue, but I'm going to glue and stitch. Okay, I like to put that side down first and then that up there, because when it's like that, like your tag can sometimes, not all the time, but when you're putting your tag in, it can just stick on that, but for some reason when it's like that, it doesn't. So I'll just dab a little bit of glue here, and of course, as Yvonne's style, I left this with no lid on overnight. When I say overnight, I didn't go to bed till about 5 this morning. Been working on a massive big journal, and I'm addicted to it at the moment, so I couldn't sleep. So I carried on working, and then I couldn't believe it when I seen the time. Do you ever do that? Just get so carried away with what you're doing, you forget about the time. Okay, Right. I'm gonna do all my stitching when I've literally completed. Do I want a little bit that way? Let's see. No. Right. Where's that? So just we'll use that for something else. And we will see. That's perfect. You can hand tear it and make it all like rustic, messy. I like that. Something's a little bit like not perfect. We'll just call it rustic. We'll just call it rustic and be done with that. Okay. So there, and we will ink that. So right now I'm just kind of setting all my pieces. What I do need to do is just put a little bit of that in there and ink that a little bit more to define that pocket. So that is going to go there. And then here we're going to have that way round, isn't it? Oh, can you hear that motorbike? Now these are quite thin, not thin, delicate, old. So with that I'm going to just put a bit of glue here because I'm going to take a notch out of there. Right. I need a pencil. So I'm just going to mark that there and there. Don't mean to go onto there. You can bring your trimmer out to trim that down. I normally just do things by eye. Don't know if you can actually see that, but there we go. Okay. So that is going to go there. And we need to take a little bit off the length. And we'll just take that. And we're going to go in with that little notch again. And that's why I glued around there. So that's okay, and just going to have a little bit of that about there, and this is where the eyeballing comes in for me. I just eyeball it all. And I quite like seeing the pumpkin. And that will go there. And we need to take another little bit off. And another little notch out of there. And that will sit on there. And then in the picture there's a little pocket, but it is a tiny little pocket. So we will make a tiny little pocket. And it hasn't got the book page on it, but and Now obviously you can make this as big or as little as you like. Make it to suit the size of the journal that you're working on. I'm not actually working on an autumn journal, but at this precise moment. Right. Okay, I'm just looking at this and they've rounded the corners. So am I going to round the corners? No, I'm not going to round the corners. Like, they've rounded the corners like here, here, here and here, but I'm not going to, I'm just going to keep that straight. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go around and stitch. The only thing that I'm not stitching is this. Okay, so what we'll do now is we'll just glue that on. Right, so that just goes on like so, like there, but I am going to stitch around here, here and here. I'm not going to stitch around there because obviously I will close my pocket, so I will be back once I've done all the stitching. So I've stitched around everything. I'm just going to snip off the excess amount of cotton. I think I waste a lot of cotton sometimes. I actually don't waste it. I keep some of it because I use it for like putting together and maybe putting behind little things when I remember. Okay, right. So at this point we need the glue again, and hopefully this is going to come out. Yes, it is. And we'll glue that down there. Sometimes I find with these older book pages, they take a little bit more to stick down. It's like they're resistant to stuff. And that one can sit there, and we're still seeing a good bit of the book page, top, sides and bottom. And looking at the thing now, and it's going, that one's going there. You could sit it in the middle. In fact, I might do that. So mine's a little bit different, same but different. Good thing about being inspired is, and I do it a lot, and I've probably mentioned it a lot as well, that I see something, I get stuff out to think, oh, I'm going to try that, and then it comes out nothing like it, but it's still great. Just things inspire you, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you are copying like every single detail of something. We kind of do make things our own once we are inspired, and I'll be honest, I think everybody's inspired by something, and yes, people are come out with like genius ideas that's never been done before, but I bet you it was some form of inspiration by something else that's inspired them to start with. Now if that was a pocket going straight into my journal, which I don't have a journal, hang on a minute, I might have a journal. So this journal was one that Artymaze gifted me. Oh, little pages squished there. So if that was going straight into a journal, which that'd be quite apt, wouldn't it? Because it's Artymaze's bits and pieces. I would just glue it on like that, or you could glue. I'm not finished making this, by the way. I'm going to make some tags, but you could glue it down the three sides and on, and have two pockets there, behind there, 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 and there. Or you could glue along the back, down there, and you could have a side tuck. So that's just a way of popping it into. But that's a lovely journal at Artymaze. She gifted me that. How cool is that? Anyway, right, let's get back to this. So we're going to make a tag. Of course we're going to make a tag that I was hoping when I shrunk that down that it is definitely going to fit in there, because I want to see that whole the whole of the word autumn. And I'm just going to measure, oops, so that is, we could get 8 inch. Just looking, yeah. Doesn't have to be dead on 8 inches, but it can't be any more. It can't be any more than that. 8 inches, 8 centimeters, Yvonne. So I'm actually just going to bring it down a little bit, like so. And of course we're gonna, like, that'd be perfect, to be honest. So I'm just going to get some coffee dyed paper, and we're going to back that. And just gluing that on. I like to glue all mine down. See, some people just like glue around the edges. I don't know, just I don't like that. I don't like doing that, I should say. I don't know that I don't like it. And we're going to smush that down. And making sure. And I need a crafty knife, and I prefer using this one for cutting because it's got that metal bit there. Oops. Yeah, it's making a bit of a noise on the glass. Like, somebody actually moaned at me once saying that the noise when I was cutting with a blade on here, that it kind of really bothered them. I know there's certain noises that bother me as well, but there is no way of not getting some form of noise from a knife on glass. And I do prefer the glass mat. Right. I'm going to use this template just for, not for the actual tag, but just for the little piece up here. And then just slide that along there. These were from Artymaze. You got a set of 3. She's not doing them anymore, but you could make your own out of acetate and then just, you know, make them to your preferred size. So ink up around the edge. And I am keeping this simple. I could add, I might actually have a look through the folder with bits and pieces, and it's not all Artymaze stuff in here, but it's just pieces from the last. Shall we have a little label? We'll see. I've got other labels. Do like a little label now and again on things. Do we? Do we want a label? Yeah, I'll just pop that on. I started off with a nice clean workspace, and no, it's not. Can't move. What else do we have in here? I just saw something else. Right, we'll take that out. Take that out just in case. I think some of this is TaylorMadeJournals as well. Just seeing what we have here. Right, that will do for now, just in case I want anything else. Right. Clear a bit of space. It's the sticky glue. Right. Autumn, let's pick one. Autumn leaves are falling, autumn is calling. Autumn, season between summer and winter. Fall, falling leaves, fall colours, bountiful fall harvests. Right. Oh, I don't know. I hate making decisions. Right. I'm going to stitch around that. Got distracted then with these. Right. Right. see, that looks cool on there, but then it takes away all that. Right, what I'm going to do with this is just going to make a little writing piece with this. And leaving a tiny, teeny border. And fold that up. And at this point here, I'm gonna dig out this. Actually, I'm just gonna tear that board just now so I don't mess it up. Right, and we're just going to fold this back a few times just to give us a little pull out. Hopefully it'll fit in there now with a bulk. Yeah, just a little pull out thingy. And I will ink that up. No, we won't. We'll trim that down first. Boring watching this, isn't it? But it's all part of the process. I mean, you wouldn't do a recipe and miss out bits, would you? Because it wouldn't turn out good at all, would it? Like the Rachel thing in Friends. Yeah, no, that wasn't going to go in. Well, I might have to trim. Actually, we could put that one down there. And just having that poking out just a little bit. When Rachel made the trifle in, if you've watched Friends, she made a trifle and there was 2 pages stuck together. So she'd made it, instead of with like jelly and cream and custard and spongy things, she made it like half of that, and then with mincemeat. Right, let's see. So that's going to fit in, thank goodness. Right, so we need 2 more little things. Like, could I use that with something? I could actually just make another little tag. Or a little journal card. I kind of like this. We'll make a little, I'm going to stop and clear my mess because it's driving me crazy. That's better. I don't like it when I end up working in a space like this. It drives me crazy. And we could use this again just to mark off the little corners. Another way of doing it is if you've got a credit card or an old card, plastic one, you could just trim different sizes off around the edges and use that as your guide, or just eyeball it. I normally do, but I just thought I would do it this way today. Okay, right, we will glue that on, put that over there. I'll go back in the autumn folder. I was going to make a couple more after making my autumn journals. I think it was it last week. I was going to jump on and do another one, and then I got totally distracted with making a gothic like themed journal, and I'm loving it. Not normally my thing, but I'm loving it. That's it. There's a little sneak peek. Getting there. Gonna go back to doing that once I finish this video. Yeah, just absolutely loving. Still a bit of glue around there, so I'll just hand cut this. Yeah, I think this is my 3rd or 4th day working on that one, like all the time. I've put in a lot of hours into that. I can't wait to see it finished. It's not going to be like completely decorated. There's gonna be a lot of journal space, as well as all the tags and ephemera and things that I'm adding. Right, so that will go in there like so, and we just need something smaller in there. Let's see if one of these will actually just like going on its own without me adding all the bulk to it. I will trim it down. I will have to back it because I printed this out on just copy paper, which I didn't mean to do, but I did. Will that fit in there? Yes, it does. So we'll just back that onto just a little bit of paper. Making sure you get all around the edges. Because I'm not stitching that because it's kind of got the full stitching on there anyway. So there's no need for me to mess that up. I'm going to set that there to dry for a minute, and then I'm going to go and stitch around these two tags. Okay, right, so that's that stitched. And hole punch. Find some of this orange eyelash trim, so we will use some of that. And the orange is obviously to go with the orange of the pumpkins and stuff. I've probably got some green somewhere. But oh. And we'll do a little bit there. I'll tie that in a knot so it don't fall out. We'll just have that scraggly, little bit scraggly going on. And then this, there we go. We'll just do a little bit of inking. And that can pop in there. And there we have it. Sorry, I nearly snorted then. There we go. Now, if you weren't, as I showed you how that could go into a page, if you are not, see that, I do find that what I said about the old paper sticking can be annoying at times. Yeah, if you're going to have that as a floating pocket, you could add some lined paper here, or squared paper, or you could maybe add another pocket to it if you wanted to, like another pocket with things in it if it was going to be a floating pocket. But this will probably get stuck down into a journal, or a journal inside journal cover would be a good idea. There we have it. So I will put all the links below. Go check them out. I'll pin the pin, and go check out Artymaze's freebie for October. Check out all our other freebie kits as well whilst you're there on our coffee shop. And if you do have any questions, just ask. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye.